Hi, I'm Kate Maven, author of 101 Secrets of Canadian Culture. Secret number 16 is who pays at a restaurant? The subtitle of this secret is Canadians are kind of cheapskates. If you don't know that word, a cheapskate is somebody who is not very generous with their money. And after teaching English to newcomers for more than 30 years and experiencing the kind of hospitality and generosity that I've experienced from my students from other countries, I've kind of come to understand that we're a little bit cheap. Sorry. Okay, so the secret here is who pays at a restaurant. One of the surprises I think for most of my students is that in most countries, if I invite you, I am basically offering to pay. So if I invite my friend to a restaurant, that friend should understand that they can come to the restaurant and I will pay for my meal and I will pay for their meal. But in Canada, that's not usually true. If I invite someone to a restaurant, it doesn't mean that I'm going to pay for them. Usually what we do in Canada is before you order. So when the server comes and says, are you ready to order, or would you care for something to drink? The first thing you should say to them is separate checks, please. And separate checks means I will pay for me and my friends will pay for themselves. So separate checks. That's normal. It's not considered rude. It's not considered bad hospitality. It's actually just our normal way of socializing. It's not that you can't pay, of course. You can't pay if you want to pay. If you want to pay for your friend's meal, that's lovely. But it would be a little bit weird for us if you always paid. Even in the case where one person has a lot more money than the other person. So for example, my oldest son has an MBA. And he earns about 4 times as much money as I do. And it's normal for him to pay for me when we go to a restaurant, or I guess before COVID when we used to go to restaurants. But about every 4th time, I will pay. So I'm trying to sort of equalize our relationship. If he earns 4 times as much, then he should pay 3 times, or he should pay 4 times, and then the next time I should pay. That might seem weird to people from other countries, but equality is probably our strongest value in Canada. And so if I don't pay, I'm not equal. I really want to pay as much as I can. When I was dating, we would take turns. One time the man would pay and one time I would pay. Even though, again, often the men were earning a lot more money. In some cases, they were millionaires, but still every second time I would pay. There's nothing wrong with having someone else pay for you. I'm just letting you know what a lot of Canadians would consider normal behavior. So when we go to a restaurant, it's normal for each person to pay for their own meal. Or if it's a couple, if there are 2 couples, if it's a husband and wife with another husband and wife, my husband and I will pay together and the other husband and wife will pay together. That's normal. So you can do whatever you want to do and you can do whatever is normal in your culture, but don't be surprised if a Canadian invites you out and then expects you to pay for your own meal. I think an exception to that would be in families. Even as adults, when I was a grown-up and I got married and I had a job and I had money, and as my parents were getting older, they had 5 kids, and all the 5 kids would come out to the restaurant for special events, such as my father's birthday, for example. And all of us had jobs. And actually, we probably were earning more money than my father was. But when the time came to pay, my father had to pay. So you're going to find some situations in which, perhaps in a family situation, where one person will insist on paying. If somebody says, no, no, my treat, or no, no, it's on me. My treat and it's on me are ways to indicate that the other person wants to pay, and that's absolutely okay. It's not that if somebody wants to pay, you should say no. If one of my friends says, no, no, it's on me, or no, no, my treat, what I say to them is, thanks, I'll get it the next time. So when I go out with my best friend, she pays one time and I pay the next time. We don't get separate checks for 2 people. That would be a little bit weird. But we take turns. If we know that we're going to be going out together multiple times, we take turns. Another really funny culture shock that my students and I have shared is on birthdays. And if in most countries, if it's my birthday, I should invite everyone to a restaurant. If I'm going to invite everyone to a restaurant, the birthday person should pay. And in Canada, it's the complete opposite. If it's my birthday, I can invite as many people as I want. And what will happen is we'll get separate checks the same way I already said. But all of the people other than me will chip in. Everybody will give a little bit, except me. The birthday person does not pay on their birthday at a restaurant. So it's the complete opposite of a lot of cultures in the world. The lesson here is Canadians are kind of cheap. We would normally say separate checks. And if it's your birthday, you shouldn't pay. The other little language warning I want to give you is in a lot of countries, people would say, let's Dutch pay, or let's go Dutch. And that used to be a way of saying, if we'll split the check. If the check comes to $50, I will pay 25 and you will pay 25. That's split the check. And the expression go Dutch is not used now. It implies that it's a little bit derogatory about people from Holland, as if they are being cheap. So you would just say, let's split the check. The polite thing to say is, let's split the check. Now, I'm more than happy to split the check with let's say, my kids. No problem. If we're all out together, I've got 3 sons and they've got partners, and if we're all out together, the bill might be $300. Then if there are 6 of us, let's pay $50 each. No problem. But I might have a problem if I'm out with a group and I have 1 beer, and I almost never have 2 beers. But if my friend drinks and drinks and drinks and drinks and drinks, then splitting the check means I'm paying a lot of money for their alcohol. And I don't really like that. So split the check is used among friends, but you might not be happy to do it. You might prefer separate checks if you know that your friend drinks a lot more than you do, for example. Another way we have of handling the bill in a restaurant is, especially for alcohol, if you go to a club, if you have 6 friends together at the club, somebody might say, this round's on me. And that means I will pay for each of the 6 people to get 1 drink. And that means that the next time we need a second drink, another person should pay for the next round. So we take turns, and that's also really normal. So next, I'll pay for the next round, or I'll get the next one, If somebody says, this round's on me, you say, thanks, I'll get the next one. Again, we like to take turns paying. So that's it for secret number 16. Canadians are kind of cheap. Stay tuned for next time for all about tipping. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. If you're interested in learning more about Canadian culture, I've put a link to my book, 101 Secrets of Canadian Culture, in the description below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.